Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And it is also, wait a minute. You know something? Let me dial it back. Let me dial it back real quick. I'm jumping the gun, and that ain't cool. But in the first corner, we have the Monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. Whenever she's not on Ringside Society, she goes on crazy misadventures, such as dressing up as the big boss man and trying to arrest people for petty crimes and dressing up as Raw the Road Warriors and picking fights with random people and also bullying the good people at Cafe Du Monde for that buy one get one free special that nobody's ever had. And today is actually her birthday. That's right. Everybody, Louisiana's own Kathy Knights.
Woo!
In the second corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He's the Tranquil Dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a cheap burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner, we have that Ocean Crossing. And the third corner, we have that Ocean Crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. 3 continents down, 3 more to go. No cap, straight facts. The worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we have 2 special occasions. One, obviously, yes, it's Kathy's birthday. We're going to get into that a little later on. But we have a man who has actually leveled up Vince McMahon style. For those of you that don't know, Vince McMahon was a commentator, and now he actually became, well, he was always the owner, the promoter, but he actually let people know, yes, I run this show. And now this man is doing the same thing. He was a commentator for Vixen Wrestling Revolution, and now he's stepping up and starting his own promotion. Everybody, welcome back to the show. All Fury Pro Wrestling owner, Jacob King.
Thanks for having me.
Jacob, how you doing tonight, sir?
And I'm doing great. It's been a good weekend, a busy weekend, and been looking forward to this. So I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, Kathy was like, hey, Jacob said he'll be back on the show. We were like, okay, let's bring him back on. We know you got All Fury Pro coming up. And we were like, you know, when I started, I was like, you know, something, we got to get Jacob on here to talk about that because we know big things are happening, big things popping, and, you know, in the great state of Texas. And I know Kathy's going to be there front and center for that debut show in 2024, the Kobe year. She's going to be there front and center, you know, taking in all the sights and sounds. So I got to ask you, how does it feel to actually like take that step up, and wake up in the morning and be like, I mean, nothing wrong being a commentator. Don't get me wrong. I've heard many great commentators: Gordon Soley, Jim Ross, even Vince McMahon himself, and Jesse the Body Ventura. But how does it feel like to wake up and say, I am the owner? I'm now the owner of my own promotion. I call the shots around here. All Fury Pro Wrestling.
Well, it's been a long time coming. So you mentioned VWR, you mentioned Vixen's Wrestling Revolution, and I was involved behind the scenes with, before VWR was VWR, it was Renegade Wrestling Revolution, and they brought me in just to be a backstage commentator at Rise of the Vixens 1, all the way back when. And that was sort of my introduction into the indie wrestling behind the scenes world. I had been training for a little bit at that time. I had actually thought I was going to be in ring, and that just didn't work out for me for a couple of different medical reasons. And I transitioned to working backstage for RWR, and whenever that transitioned into VWR, I kind of led the commentary team there. I was the media guy of VWR. I was the man behind the graphics. I was the man behind the social media team. And of course, Scott was the one who booked the shows. He booked all the talent, but there was a brain trust behind the scenes at VWR that I was a part of. But there were so many times where I really wished I could have been able to take the reins and really put my foot on the gas and do something with the booking of the show, how I wanted the storylines to go. I felt like a lot of what went on behind the scenes at VWR, my hands were really tied as far as what we could do, what we were allowed to do, not necessarily because of decisions that Scott made, but decisions that were outside of even his control. And so I decided earlier this year that the last step for me on that journey of working behind the scenes in indie wrestling was to start my own promotion. Texas is one of those territories right now that's just absolutely on fire with talent. And it is not hard to find good, talented wrestlers in Texas to fill out a card. A lot of the people that you're going to see on our show have been really stepping up their game all over the state of Texas. That's really kind of that was the launch pad for what I wanted to do. Was I wanted to find the next generation of Texas talent, because a lot of people look at the people coming out of Texas. Brian Keith's name gets thrown around a lot as being the hottest free agent out there who's not signed to a major contract. And my thought on the matter is everybody is so focused on people like Brian Keith that they're kind of forgetting the next people, the next men up, so to speak. And there are so many of them that I want to showcase what I really think they can do. And so All Fury for me, our mission statement was to find the best that Texas has to offer and showcase them in a way that they aren't necessarily being showcased right now on the indies. One of the things that I'm really hoping to explore with All Fury Pro is the multimedia aspect of what indie professional wrestling can do. So the video packages, the multimedia presentation, we're really hoping to grow that in 2024. And hopefully some of these guys, we won't have the opportunity to say, oh, this guy is the best unsigned free agent, because I will hopefully be propelling these guys to get signed to that next level. We won't have the time to talk about them being the best unsigned talent. They're going to get signed, and it's going to be because of the work that they do with All Fury Pro. So whenever I wake up in the morning, that's what I'm thinking about, is how can I put these guys over in a way that I know they're good, I know they're talented, and everybody knows that, but how can we showcase that to the scouts and the people in the so-called major leagues? How can we put them out there in a way that gets them noticed and gets them the career and the notoriety that they deserve? So I wake up every morning and I ask myself, how can I accomplish that goal? That's what All Fury is all about for me.
That's awesome. That's very great to hear. So y'all are debuting, I believe, January 2024, correct?
January 20th, 2024, we're coming out guns blazing. I chose that name for a reason. We are not holding anything back. Our first show, January 20th, it's going to be a big one. We did have to shift our date. Originally, we had planned for January 27th, but I have a fairly strong working relationship with the people down at Loco Wrestling. Shout out to Jaime and Pedro, those guys working behind the scenes there. And they have just a monster event on January 27th where they're doing a co-branded event with XPW. And we didn't want to divide the Houston fan base, and we didn't want to make people pick and choose. And I wanted to be at that show too. So January 20th is going to be the debut of All Fury Pro Wrestling. And then the next weekend, you've got Loco Wrestling and XPW spilling the blood at Houston Premier Arena. So it's going to be a good month for pro wrestling.
That's awesome. Like that, I wish more people thought like that. Like there's room for everybody to get some recognition promotion wise. I mean, you don't have to have this whole war like, I'm a promotion, you're a promotion. That means you're my competition. Like, no, man. Like if there's room enough for everybody. I mean, there's a lot of weeks for everybody to have that shine and so on. So that's great. I like that y'all actually do that down there as well. It seems like Texas is a place where I've never seen any such thing as competition between promotions. Like everybody has their own lane, and they make room for everybody else and so on. That's just what I've seen.
Yeah, Texas is like that a lot of times. I mean, there's obviously friction between certain promotions, and it happens from time to time. You'll get conflicts of interest as far as, well, that's my champion. We don't want you to book that person to possibly look weak in front of an audience, and there's always politics whenever you're trying to run in show business. But for the most part, the promotions in Texas do a very good job of working together. I've had several promoters reach out to me and, welcome me to the club, so to speak. Shout out to the people up in Austin. I know Biss at Inspire AD reached out to me over the weekend, welcomed me to the club. I love what they're doing up at Inspire. And of course, I've gotten a lot of love from the people down here in Houston. Of course, Nick over at Wrestle Rave has been a constant help. Same thing with everybody at PWF, who I will always consider PWF to be my home base. I'm there every month. I'm looking forward to the Premier Rumble in a couple of weeks. Speaking of cooperation, I think there are 5 different promotions that are involved in that particular showcase alone. So, Texas is one of those states that we're really good at cooperating whenever we see the benefit in it. And we're doing the best that we can to show that Texas has the best talent in the United States, hand down.
Wow, that's awesome. And y'all have a great all-star cast. You have people like BD Brawley, Kenny Calypso. You have, teen sensation Mia Friday. You have one of our good friends, Haley Danielle, I see Haley Danielle's wearing those blue flames. I might have to send her a Ringside Society shirt because I think she might want to I think she'd look good in one of those shirts because we rock the blue flames as well too. But you got a pretty, interesting roster for that first show. You even have one of Kathy's favorites, Izzy James. He's going to be on there too. So, I know that you're not going to give away too much, but what can fans expect to see from the premiere show, the first of many great shows from All Fury Pro?
Well, Guns Blazing is really all about setting the stage for the rest of the year. We're going to have just a banner year. I'm not holding anything back. We are not running every single month. And there's a reason for that. We want to make sure that every show feels special. We want to make sure that this isn't a thing where we're just throwing people on the card to have them on the card. Everybody who has earned their spot on All Fury Pro's first show really did earn their spot. They are people that I want to showcase their talent. I want to showcase what they are capable of. And one of the things that you're going to see at the first event is that every match has stakes. Every single match is there for a reason. So most of the matches, most of everybody that you've seen announced is either contending for a title or contending for a shot at the title at our next event. We are seriously paying close attention to the performances that these people are putting on. We want everybody to feel invested in the matches that we have. I'm going to say that by the end of the night on January 20th, we will have our champions. We are having a one-night tournament for the All Fury Pro Championship title that you have seen me carrying around all to these different Texas promotions, trying to generate interest. This is exactly what it looks like, and someone's going to be walking away with this title at the end of the night. And I am really, really proud of how this turned out. It's definitely, as you may have noticed, an homage to probably my favorite championship title of all time, which is that undisputed title that was held by the likes of Eddie Guerrero back in the Ruthless Aggression era. So you can kind of see where my loyalty and my history lies. But also, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a nice little exclusive. So I haven't unveiled this title yet, but we are also going to crown the first ever Venus Division Women's Champion. Now, the Venus Division is open to any female identifying competitor on the independent circuit. They will be competing for this, the Venus Division Championship. It is a beautiful.
Woo! Man,
I can tell you that the very first night we are going to crown our first ever Women's Division Champion, and it will be one of 3 people. It will be either the aforementioned Haley Danielle, it will be the teen sensation Mia Friday, or it will be Louisiana's own Amaris Blair, competing in a 3-way elimination match for that Venus Division Championship. That is going to be a early contender for match of the night, because category. All three of them have championship pedigrees because Amaris has held the PWF Women's Championship in Houston Premier Arena. Mia Friday, of course, was the VWR Genesis champion, and she has held multiple other championships. And Haley Danielle is, at least at this time, the Wrestle Rave Anytime Anywhere champion. So it's anybody's guess who walks out of here with that beautiful belt. But I'm looking forward to seeing that match because all three of them are just desperate to add another accolade to their resume.
Man, that is going to be a hot match, man. And plus, I'm familiar with all three women. Haley Danielle, she's been, improving, getting better and better, and showing a lot of heart. Amaris is one. She lets people know who she is. Repping Louisiana, and she's not a slouch either. And then you got Mia Friday, fresh off a tour from Japan. Man, it's hard to call who's gonna walk out with that one, but those of y'all watching, you see, you got an instant classic right there for a beautiful looking time. And I'm not saying this because you're in front of me, Jacob. Like, legitimately, that is one of the best looking titles I've ever seen in all my 30 something years of being a pro wrestling fan. That title right there, whoever did that, I tip my hat off to them. Whoever designed that or made that title for you, I tip my hat off to them, because that right there is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, well, we wanted our wrestlers to have a belt that they could be proud to carry around, something that didn't look cheap. I know in Texas there are a lot of beautiful championships. Like I've seen a lot of them up close and in person. That new Texas championship is absolutely beautiful, and of course the belts up at Inspire Pro, the Premier belts, all of them just absolutely beautiful. And I didn't want to come in looking like a schlub. If we're going to do this thing, we're going to do it right. And so I'm hoping that whoever walks out of there with that championship, it's something that they're proud to carry with them wherever they go.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a match for the ages. But so yeah, man. And then, like I said, even on the men's side, you got all these great competitors, some of whom we've actually had on our show. And yeah, so I gotta ask, as a promoter, everybody, when they take a role in pro wrestling, they always have, that inspiration, that influence that, keeps them going. So who would you cite as a promoter? Who would you cite? Which person or persons would you cite as influences as a promoter in pro wrestling?
Well, as a promoter, I've honestly learned more from indie promoters than anybody else in the business, because what we do at the indie level is different than what Vince McMahon does and what Dixie Carter did up in TNA and what Tony Khan is doing with AEW. Indie promoting is a grassroots thing. It's all about building a sense of community. So honestly, I have gotten more inspiration from, I mentioned Biss up at Inspire AD, Booker T running Reality of Wrestling, and then, of course, the people that I've worked with for Wrestle Rave and PWF. Also, major shout out to Heavy Metal Wrestling. I had lots of fond memories driving up to see those shows, things that they did, giving away free shows just to build an audience and to get people familiar with their wrestlers. The independent scene really has taught me quite a lot. And, coming into it as somebody who, I've always been a fan of pro wrestling as far back as I can remember. I mean, it's the point where I'm old enough now where I honestly cannot remember a time where I wasn't watching wrestling. So to go from being in the stands at wrestling shows, I used to go to Texas All-Star Wrestling in the Humboldt Bingo Hall whenever I was younger, and then eventually went to train with that same company thinking I was going to be a wrestler. My evolution from sitting in the stands to, going behind the curtain and running a show, I've learned quite a lot from just traveling the indies, going to different shows, talking to different promoters, having the opportunity to talk to Booker T, having the opportunity to talk to people like Kiefer over at New Texas. That's where I take the inspiration, because I know that we're probably not going to end up on a nationally syndicated television network. That's not what we aspire to do. What we aspire to do is to make magic for the people that are in the building, and then utilize the platform that we have on things like IWTV, like Title Match, like YouTube, like Vimeo, like Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, social media, whatever we can do to allow the talent that's on our shows to shine. That's what we're going to do. Now, of course, looking just from a production standpoint, I've learned what not to do a lot of the times by watching the bigger promotions. Like, I have a hand in the production side of All Fury Pro as well, editing the shows whenever they get put together before they get pushed to streaming, because I do have a background in multimedia production. One of the things that I've taken away is I look at the way that major promotions are edited. So your WWE, your AEW, your New Japan. And there is one thing you will never see me do, no matter what arena I'm running in. You can hold me to this. If you ever see my product cut to a crowd shot whenever there's action happening in the ring, you can throw me in front of a bus. I will not allow that to happen. Do not ever expect me to go on that Kevin Dunn BS. It's not going to happen.
Kathy, I see you smiling over there. Do not throw this man under a bus. It's not going to end well for you. The police will come and charge you. So don't. I see you. She's always giving trouble. But yeah. Actually, I was just about to ask you that question. Would it be available to us fans here that, I'm obviously, I'm here in Brooklyn, New York. Rob is actually in, Delaware. Kathy's the only one that would be able to make it there in person. But would it be available to us non-Texas residents, those far away? Would it be available for us to view either live or, I guess a few days after the show itself has taken place?
Well,
that's what I was going to ask you.
I know we're not going to live stream because the technological limitations operating in that building with live streaming. I know PWF does it, Loco does it, a bunch of other promotions do it. But being that this is our first debut event, I want to make sure that we get everything right and we don't have the hiccups in streaming. So it will be available to stream after the show is concluded. I'm working on trying to make sure that the product looks the best that it possibly can before it gets pushed out. We are going to be filming some video packages and vignettes that need to be inserted into the show itself. Once that is all completed and the final cut's done, I'll start pushing out some availability for streaming. As far as I know right now, it's going to be free to watch. We're not going to put it behind a paywall on something like IWTV or Title Match, not to start, because we're still trying to build a brand. We're still trying to build some familiarity with All Fury Pro. And I think hiding it behind a paywall is kind of counterintuitive to what we're going to do. But yes, people outside of Texas will be able to see it. And the people that got to see it live will be able to relive every moment. And it's something that I'm greatly looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to, seeing that first show, eventually. Because like I said, I like what I see. I see what I like with what y'all are doing with the first card. And I know it's definitely going to be a show to remember. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Kathy. I know Kathy has a couple of questions for you as well. So Kathy, go ahead. The floor is yours.
You know what? We'll turn it over to Rob. I'll be last.
Awesome.
All right.
I threw him off.
All right. We're doing a crisscross here now. All right. So what's going on, Jacob? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling really good. Looking forward to tomorrow because tickets for the event go on sale tomorrow morning, and I'm looking forward to everybody having the opportunity to see what we're trying to do.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So today, anything crazy happened today? Just normal day, regular day, chill day.
Oh no, it's just a completely normal day. It's a Sunday, so I try to take the day off. I did go. I went to my favorite Cajun joint and had some etouffee for lunch, but that's about as crazy as I got.
Etouffee. What's etouffee? I might have heard of it. I just can't picture it right now. I'm country.
Well, it's a shrimp dish that is meant to clog your arteries entirely, and I think it might have done a very good job of it. Served over rice. It's it's my it's kind of like my treat to myself. I don't have it that often, but whenever I do, I drive out of my way to a little hole in the wall here in Houston called Cajun Town, and it's they make the best etouffee in Houston, in my opinion. So I try to get down there about once a month, every once in a while, and treat myself to that. And I'll punish myself for it in the gym tomorrow.
Hey man, I'm all for treat yourself day. I mean, yeah, you always gotta have one of them, man. Just boost yourself up, man. So Thanksgiving's coming up, man. You're just talking about food, man. Are you excited for that? You got yeah, you and the family, going to do anything crazy, or you just low key
Yeah.
chilling Thanksgiving?
Well, Thanksgiving around here, we try to do things a little low key. It's probably just going to be me and my wife this year, doing something small, so we don't have to create like a whole spread for 25 people, and
Yeah.
don't have to worry about anybody's gluten allergies or food sensitivity or anything like that. So I know we're probably going to make just a metric ton of mashed potatoes, but beyond that, we haven't solidified our plans yet. Most of the effort usually goes into the desserts, to be perfectly honest. So I'm sure that tradition is going to continue.
That's good. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Are y'all having a turkey? Because I know my family, I think this year we're doing a pork roast. My mom's going to do one. We're all going to go over there and have that, 'cause, turkey, we're like, whatever, you throw a chicken in there, turkey, pork roast, meatloaf, whatever. Now, I always get shot down with the taco, Thanksgiving. Every year I'm like, yo, let's have tacos. Let's have, it's like, no, we ain't doing that. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, we usually save the taco bar for Christmas. To be perfectly honest, we'll do tacos and fajitas, tamales. That's a wonderful way to spend Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, yeah. We usually do a ham. My mom will do a ham or something. We go over there and the ham's real good because she glazes it all day and takes it out of the oven. It's like it looks like it's been in a nuclear reactor. You know what I mean? You're just glowing. You're like, oh man, yeah, I'm ready to tear it up. So you're got shows down there in Houston. See, I always get confused, because I have shows in Houston, and you got and you're in Houston. It's spelled the same, different meanings and stuff, man. So I do gotta ask, how do y'all? Yeah, when you think Houston, yeah, it's spelled HUA or HUGH. You know what I mean? How do you get is it named after somebody over there? Because I was talking with my dad about that today. We're like, man, it's got to be something, because Houston over here is named after a general in like the Revolutionary War or something, So
Yeah,
Houston, I don't know much about Texas.
Houston was named after Sam Houston, who was
okay, yeah,
one of the generals of the Texas Revolution. So,
okay.
And one of our earliest politicians. So that's where that came from. But I mean, Houston's filled with streets that if you don't live here, you cannot pronounce them to save your life. I know Kathy knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, look, see, that's like that in Delaware sometimes. Like if you get somebody on the news that like just moved here from somewhere else, they'll talk about the beach, and the beach is spelled Lewes. They pronounce it Lewes, but it's Lewis. It's Lewis Beach. They're like, yeah, we're down here, Lewes Beach, or we have a street called Lockerman, but it's spelled Lookerman. They're like, yeah, we're at Lookerman and Lewes Beach, and it's like, oh man, yeah, you're new, you'll get it. Oh man. So you got your show coming up, January 20th. Do y'all have anything booked after that? Are you going to try and do monthly shows, or every other month, something like that?
Well, right now we're shooting for 4 big shows next year, and I believe we have our second date locked in, but I don't want to announce that just yet in case something shifts. I should have that locked down to announce the night of Guns Blazing. So that's what I'm working on right now. But yeah, we will have 4 shows on the docket for next year, and that's what I'm working towards. As soon as I have a date, believe me, people will know about it.
That's cool. Now I do gotta ask, is one of my favorite ring announcers of all time, Emily Taylor. She actually has a cameo here in every episode of Ringside Society. Is she gonna be there? You know what I mean? I always gotta ask about Emily.
Oh yeah, Emily we were never not going to have Emily as our ring announcer. Emily's something like a good luck charm for me.
That's right.
The shows where she's not there just don't feel right. She's one of the best ring announcers in the business, and there's a reason why she pops up all over the place. And even if she wasn't my friend, I definitely would have hired her for this event. She does great work, and we're glad to have her on board.
Now, speaking of, having friends and stuff, what is it like, seeing, people you became friends with, guys and gals, you've worked with and all that, just, go out to like TV, bigger, better things. They're like, touring the world, on TV every week, fighting for championships, pay-per-views, what's it like, are you like one of those like proud dads or proud, uncles or brothers, like, that's awesome. Yes, cheering on every time. Is it like that?
It really is. I mean, there's so many people that have worked on shows with me that I've called matches for that, now I get to see them go off and work on TV, and it's absolutely amazing to see them. I week in and week out. I mean, obviously the big one is Roxanne, who, if you look at, I've got a YouTube compilation of just about every match I've ever called that's still available on YouTube, and aside from Rachel Rose, I think she's the one that I called the most for. So, to see her on TV every week puts a big smile on my face. And, I'll tell people, I'll tell people, I said, it was her birthday not too long ago. And I posted on her Facebook page. I said, I still tell people I know you, so they'll think I'm cool. It doesn't work, but that's their fault, not mine. But yeah, I mean, I love seeing people get that opportunity to grow, and I'm hoping that with All Fury Pro, some of the names that we see in January, I'm hoping that tradition continues. There's a lot of people that I've worked with. I've been in the business since I started training February 2019, so I count that as my anniversary, so to speak. And one of the people that was in that ring training with me the first day that I stepped foot into a wrestling ring, and I'll never forget that night, but one of the people that was in that ring that night with me was Kenny Calypso. And Kenny Calypso is now a multiple-time champion all across this state, and he was one of, if not the first person I asked to be a part of All Fury Pro, because I've seen how much he's grown. I have seen everything that guy is capable of, and his ceiling is, if he has a ceiling, I haven't seen it, because there are a lot of people who connect with the crowd. I've seen plenty of them who know how to connect with a crowd and get them on their feet and get them invested in a match, but Kenny is just S tier at the top of getting people on their side. I have never seen a connection with one individual the way that I see with Kenny. And so I'm really happy that he was available for All Fury Pro. And I'm hoping to hopefully see him on the big stage one day, because he definitely deserves it.
Yeah, that would be awesome seeing all that and stuff, man. Now, when you were talking about doing commentary, I see the commentary team and stuff when I get a 1CW and they're in the back and stuff. They have little notebooks like just filled everything. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's the one job. Like, if they Hardy and them asked me, he's like, hey, can you fill in for commentary? That's the one I would be like, I don't know if I could do that. Anything else, what I mean? Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. But the commentary, that's whoo. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, do you have the big books like that? When you're doing commentary, do you still keep them? Look at back and like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I did.
We keep a running. I know. So one of the commentators at PWF that I work with, shout out to Trent. He came on a couple of months ago to join the commentary team permanently once Scott made his exit from PWF, and he's been working with me and Haley ever since. And his work is just phenomenal. He's very good at keeping meticulous notes. His notebook is just pristine and has everything. It's basically it's the Bible for PWF. Whereas I will go home and I will update my notes when I get home, and a lot of it I store up here, because if I'm trying to look at a notebook while I'm doing commentary, I'm going to trip over myself 99% of the time. So if you ever watch me do commentary for, I know my primary promotions right now are Wrestle Rave and PWF. So if you ever see me do commentary for Wrestle Rave or PWF, I would say a good 90% of it is just off the cuff, remembering the stuff that I store up here. I forget things that are actually important because I'm trying to remember who defeated who 3 months ago in a cage match at that particular live wire event. So that's some people are very, very meticulous with their notebooks, and some people are just walking encyclopedias of information. The people that I work with, and I've worked with so many people behind the commentary desk, and everybody does it a little bit differently, but everybody has something that they're really good at. We've talked about Haley Danielle, who, aside from being a participant at All Fury Pro, is also a permanent member of the commentary desk at PWF. And Haley is just the PWF historian. So she uses her downtime. She will go back to IWTV and she will just watch PWF shows so that she can bring up, well, did you know that on this date, this person won this championship from this person, and it has been exactly this many months. She is so good at that. And, I'll razz her on commentary for mispronunciations or or forgetting this or that. But for the most part, she's just so capable at remembering things that, just slipped off my mind. And it's all three of us bring something so unique to the table. And I think we've gotten into a really good rhythm at PWF. And then over at WrestleRave, it's been kind of a revolving door as far as who my co-chair is. Usually it's me and Ricky Asada, the Meat Man, who I love working with Ricky. He's one of the best commentators anywhere, and he's also a great. If you need a hype man for any event, send a message to Ricky, because that dude knows what he's doing. But I've worked with him. I've worked with the lovely Miss Brittany Nicole. I've worked with Stu from Inspire. I've worked with Jack, who helps to put together the WrestleRave stuff. Like, commentary it really is an art, and it's one of my pet peeves. And I've developed many since I've gotten into indie wrestling. I can't look at online discourse anymore for professional wrestling, because if I see people talking about a botch, or it's like, oh, they botched that, it hurts me deep in my soul, because nobody behind that keyboard has any idea of how difficult even the most simple of wrestling techniques are. My second week of wrestling training, I nearly separated my shoulder trying to do an arm drag roll. Like, that is exactly how difficult some of this is. And the same thing goes for commentary. I will hear people just rag on commentators. It's like, oh, somebody needs to put Jim Ross out to pasture. He's no good anymore. I'm like, no, Jim Ross, even at this stage of his career, is better than just about anybody that you could put behind that table. It is not easy to tell a story the way that wrestling commentators do. It is not easy to remember those moves. It is not easy to do what wrestling commentators do. And so that's my little pet peeve. And so and you talk to any indie wrestling commentator about how they think they did on a given show, every single one of them is very well aware of what they could have done better, how they would like to improve that next time. And I'm no different. I remember one time in particular, I called a Boston Crab a camel clutch on commentary, and I wanted to slam my head into a wall, because it was just a slip of the brain. But had that been if I had been on live television, if I had been commentating Collision, then people would be calling for my lynching, because that is exactly how toxic some wrestling fans can be and how hypercritical they can be of commentary in general. So when it comes to commentary, I'm very proud of the work I've done, and I'm very proud of the growth that everybody that I've worked with has shown. And we're just always trying to get better, and it's all in service of trying to make sure that when you watch the shows that we put together, that the commentary adds value and doesn't take away from the show. I've had several people come up to me after the show's debut on IWTV or Title Match or YouTube. They've come up to me and they said, thank you for that one call, because I can snip that one call, that one moment. I can put that up on my TikTok, or I can put that up on my X or my Instagram reels, and people will see that and they will remember that call and they will remember that moment. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not averse to having my personality shine through on commentary. I try to have fun whenever I'm doing that because, it's, if you're not doing it and you're not loving it at the time, then why are you doing it? But at the same time, my job is to get the people in the ring over, not necessarily myself. Now at All Fury Pro, as the owner of the company, I'm going to have a more on-screen role. I'm probably not going to be as involved with commentary, which is going to be hard for me because I'm a perfectionist and I want my commentary to sound a certain way, but I'm going to have to be a little hands-off. But I also refuse to be Vince McMahon yelling into the headset. It's like, say it's boss time. I can't be that guy either. So
I think you could do a mean power walk, though. I could see you going down the ring and, doing the little power walk and, yeah.
Well, I'm honestly afraid to stomp too hard down the PWF ring because I'm afraid I'll knock a hole in it, as many people have suplexed onto that thing at this point. So, but I could probably get the movement down if I tried.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, man, I'm with you on that on the pet peeve thing. People talking, oh man, that was a botch. He called that the wrong move. I see that too. I read it. I'm just like, oh man, like you said, almost hurting your shoulder on like an arm drag. One time, I where you grab the top rope, some guy, you enter, you get on the, you're on the outside, you jump over the rope and come into the ring, like that, simple move. One time, my hands were all slippery and I went and I did that, but I slipped and I did a flip, right into the ring, all botched, like I landed on my feet, yeah, yeah, man, it's like, man, it happens, it's no big deal,
It's live entertainment. Things are not always going to go 100% correctly, but there seems
to have cut. Bring in the stunt team. All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, Rob, I don't mean to cut into your time, I just got to say one thing real quick. First off, Jacob, you guys are doing great. A lot of these fans don't understand that it's all about focus and like things happen. And something I noticed even as a podcaster, a lot of the fans that have a lot of gusto with their criticism in regards to wrestling matches and how wrestling shows are, there are people that can't even have a podcast. There are regular fans that go to the show, and then I noticed that they can't go into the ring, they can't bump, they can't do what you do with commentary. They can't even. They'd probably become a referee and mess up a whole match. And I noticed they can't even have a podcast. So when I see fans, because it irks me too, because I love this business, even though I'll never be a wrestler or anything, but it irks me when I see fans do that, and then I look closer at them. I'm like, wait a minute, you can't. You can't even get in that ring. You don't even have a podcast. And I'm not trying to act like we're better than anybody, but I'm like, you don't even have all you do is just get on here, criticize, and then you go your merry way. So a lot of those people are just people that are just like they're just looking, I guess, for the little 15 minutes of not even fandom, because I wouldn't put our thing with that, but the little 15 minutes of I guess attention. And then most of the times they fail, and then they get banned, and then you don't see them again. So y'all are doing great. I'm sure you already got down to science with dealing with them, but they're the ones that just say something to say something. That's what I see.
Yeah, well, I've said this because I've been a part of multiple fandoms my entire life. It's I love wrestling. I'm a comic book nerd. I'm a movie nerd. And nobody hates the thing they love more than the people who love that thing. Fans just hate the thing that they say that they love a lot of the time. Fandom will ruin the thing that you love quicker than anything else. And so I have to take a step back, honestly, and since becoming involved with indie wrestling, I don't watch a whole lot of WWE anymore, a whole lot of AEW anymore, because I honestly just don't have the time, to follow as much wrestling as there is right now. It's like we live in just a virtual smorgasbord of professional wrestling right now. There is not a day of the week where there's not wrestling. In fact, before this show started, I was on Pluto TV watching the nonstop TNA channel. They were showing some classic knockouts matches on there. There was an Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim match that I hadn't seen in a while. I was watching that. Anytime you want to watch wrestling, you can watch wrestling. We're spoiled is the problem. As fans, we are spoiled, and sometimes we forget how good we have it. It's the same thing with comic books. Like everyone talks about, it's like, oh, comic books, they're not as good as they used to be. I'm like, do you remember how they used to be? Because I was there for the Clone Saga. Like we can go back to that if you like. And everyone will always have something that they complain about. But me, if I have something to say about anything, I try to offer something constructively. I try to offer, it's like, well, if I think that they could have done this slightly better had they done this, and here's why. And I think that a lot of online commentators, a lot of online critics, the thing that they lack is that why. So they're able to formulate what they don't like, but they can't tell you why. They can't articulate that. And so if there's anything that I don't enjoy, I will tell you exactly why I don't enjoy it, and I will give you a point-by-point breakdown. And that might just be the literature major in me. I don't know, but that's kind of how I view things. And so, and I apply that to my own promoting as well, like putting together this card, trying to decide who I wanted to match up with who. I'm thinking several steps ahead in terms of, okay, who are these people going to have the best match with? If I put these two individuals in a ring, do they have chemistry? Is it something that I want to see, or is it something that the fans are going to enjoy? Because ultimately, I'm not going to have a promotion if I can't get fans through the door. So I can't fantasy book for me. I have to fantasy book for what I think will be in the interest of the longevity of my company. So there is quite a bit that I want to see happen for All Fury Pro. And there's a lot that I'm willing to experiment on, but I'm not actively trying to anger the fans. And I think that a lot of people need to understand that no matter how you view the product, whether it's WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, I don't believe that anyone is actively trying to turn fans away from the product. If you don't agree with the booking, if you don't agree with a particular match finish or anything, never believe that the people behind the scenes are trying to drive you away, because ultimately the wrestling business is a business, and people like WWE, AEW, they're relying on advertising dollars, and advertising dollars rely on people coming to the show and watching the show and talking about the show. So chances are, if there's a controversial finish that you don't agree with, it is because they're trying to drive engagement. They're trying to get people to talk about it. And as much as I disagreed with Cody losing at WrestleMania this year, people talked about it nonstop, and they're still talking about it. And that engagement gets people to tune in to WWE. They do a cost-benefit analysis. They say, okay, what is it going to cost us to do this in terms of advertising revenue, in terms of people buying tickets, in terms of people buying merch, in terms of buying merchandise? They look at that and they ask, is it worth it? And they make a decision. They are not trying to personally offend you. And so if you don't agree with the booking decisions of All Fury Pro, I am not trying to personally offend you. I am trying to tell a story. And believe me, I am a firm believer in long-term storytelling. I have plans mapped out for our end of the year show next year already. Like that is how I view things. So I'm just telling people, trust the process. And if you don't like the show, I'm not going to beg and plead for you to watch it, because everybody has tastes. And that saying, the customer is always right, that relates to matters of taste. If you don't like WWE, and you are free to not watch WWE, but the hyperbole, the toxicity that I see online, I really, really, really wish that could die down, and we could just, for a moment, appreciate that we are in an amazing boom period for professional wrestling. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing in January if all of the professional wrestling companies at every level weren't firing on all cylinders. If AEW didn't exist, if Ring of Honor wasn't doing the things that they're doing with Honor Club, if WWE wasn't the hottest it's been in years, people wouldn't be coming to these shows, because people are talking about wrestling again. it's never going to be the Attitude Era ever again. It's never going to be 1998, because in 1998, we did not have the internet the way that we do now. We did not have streaming. We did not have the amount of competition that we have for eyeballs. If you wanted to watch something, your options were very, very limited, not only in what was available, but when it was available. So yeah, the ratings for WWE and AEW, they're going to be down compared to 1998 because we have DVR, we have YouTube, we have people watching the clips on Twitter and Instagram or TikTok or whatever. That's how people mainline their information, mainline their media. There's not everybody is going to come directly to see All Fury Pro. Some people are going to watch it online, and I hope that people will talk about it online. But I'm hoping that as we move through 2024, that people will recognize, especially looking at all the great content that's being put out by independent companies. And I'm not just talking about the ones in Texas that I work for. I mean, you look at things like Wrestling Revolver is doing amazing stuff. GCW is legitimately making a run for one of the best indies out there. You've got stuff like Defy, like Deadlock. There are just amazing companies out there, and you're just choose what you like and focus on it. Speaking from personal experience, I was never a huge deathmatch guy. It wasn't to my taste. I was always more of a let's keep it in the ring and let's showcase what our technical abilities are. Like I like that kind of wrestling and I like that kind of spectacle. And then I got brought in to do commentary for WrestleRave, and I called my first ever deathmatch tournament, and I get it. Like it takes seeing one match to change your perspective. The same way there have been concerts that I've gone to and seen an opening band that previously I had no interest in, and seeing them live changed my entire perspective. So that's wrestling. Choose what you like and support it. Don't try to tear down the industry as a whole because you don't like one corner. Because even something as big as AEW is only a small, small sliver of what professional wrestling actually is. Same thing for WWE, same thing for New Japan, same thing for Impact. It doesn't matter how big the company is. In the grand scheme of things, worldwide, it's only a small, small part of what we call this business.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, and then talking about sitting there and doing the storylines all year and stuff. I know Hardy and Carlson get up every year to do that and stuff. Like we have all the dates on. They'll write the story out all year and all. I mean, in case we get dates added on, there's stuff we can put in there. But yeah, they do that every year also. So I know how hard. Yeah, I see them. I'm like, I don't know how you all could can run a company. All those egos. You got get the storylines going. I'm like. Man, I did one story. It's like, oh, I got to come up with another one, and then another one, and oh, man, I don't know if I can do that. I'll be like George Costanza, Seinfeld, like when we got the the show, like, how are we going to write 24 episodes a year? I mean, I don't have that many ideas. Like what? It was like,
yeah.
So anyway, oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things that's really helping me in terms of plotting out storylines is the fact that everybody that is involved with All Fury Pro Wrestling on the talent side, they have ideas too. They know their characters better than anybody. And like I said earlier on in the podcast, I want to showcase those abilities in a way that maybe we haven't had a chance to yet. So I want to hear their input. If they have a story that they want to pitch, my door, my email, my DMs are always open to my talent. And I'm not one of those people who's like, I am not, nothing is set in stone. I have a general idea for where I want to be at the end of the year. And there are some things that need to happen along the way to get there. But if they've got some character beats and they've got something that they want to do and they want to, let's shake things up, let's do something different, then I'm going to listen to that. I had to change a lot of my plan whenever we shifted by our date back by a week. I don't know if she'll want me saying this, but originally one of the plans for our original date, one of our talents had to cancel because they were no longer available. I had Jasmine Allure booked for the 27th, and she unfortunately, whenever we moved the date, couldn't make it. And I swear, by come hell or high water, I'm getting Jasmine back on a show because she was one of my good luck charms for VWR. Her matches were always phenomenal, and she's one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm just hoping that I can get her in an All Fury ring before somebody snatches her up, because it's going to happen. She's going to sign a major contract sooner rather than later. And I'm hoping that we can collaborate at least once or twice before that happens.
Well, that's good. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. Yeah, she is she is awesome, man. I'd love to see her come out here on the East Coast or whatever, man. That'd be awesome. I'd love to ref a match with her or something, man. That would be cool. But anyway, before I pass it on over to Kathy, I want to ask, since you're like you said you're movie buff and all that stuff. I'm always trying to find new movies and TV shows and stuff to watch. Now, I did finally get into Fargo. I know it's been out since 2014 or whatever. I've finally been watching it, and I love that show right now. So, I mean, are there any other like new movies or shows that you've seen lately, you could recommend or whatever?
Man, I wish I could recommend more, but I have not been getting to the movies as much as I should lately. I did on Friday go to see the new Hunger Games film, which I really, really enjoyed. I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of it because I'm not a huge fan of prequels, but they did a really good job with that one. And I think one of my major complaints with the original Hunger Games trilogy was that it was shot so dark and so shaky that you couldn't follow any of the action, and that was not a problem for the new one. So that was a big step up. And then as far as some of the other stuff that I've watched, I guess I could pull up my Letterboxd account and see what I've watched recently that I actually enjoyed, because it's weird. Whenever I get out to the movie theaters, one of the things that's like, I don't like going to see things that I'm not going to enjoy. I'm a little bit less picky whenever I'm at home. So I finally got around to watching Cocaine Bear, which if I had paid money to see that, I might have been disappointed, but it was free, so I can't really complain. Same thing with the Meg 2. Not really a great film, but it was on HBO Max. Why not? But as far as the movies that I've enjoyed this year, of course, Killers of the Flower Moon I loved because I'm a huge Martin Scorsese fan, and I thought that was an absolutely incredible adaptation of the book. Reading the book, I thought it was unfilmable, so the fact that they did so well was really impressive to me. And then two other honorable mentions, the film Bottoms with Rachel Sennett and I cannot pronounce her name, but she's on The Bear on Hulu. Absolutely hilarious film. If you like stuff like Not Another Teen Movie absolute absurd comedies, it's great. It's about a couple of unpopular lesbians who start a fight club to entice their romantic interests. Great, hilarious movie. I nearly wet myself laughing. It's absurd. It has Marshawn Lynch in a supporting role, and he is absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, I've heard about that movie. Okay, yeah.
It's really good. And then my dark horse candidate for favorite movie of the year was the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
That was actually pretty good. Yeah.
Long time Ninja Turtles fan here, and I absolutely loved it. Just waiting for. I think the 4K comes out on Tuesday, so I'm gonna have to pop that in on my 60-inch and really enjoy that one. But it's been kind of a slow year for movies for me, to be perfectly honest. I've been revisiting some older stuff that I like. The Criterion Collection's having their annual 50% off sale, so I got to pick some stuff up there. I think I'm going to pick up. They got a new edition of Malcolm X, and I haven't seen that in a couple of years, but I remember that being probably my favorite Spike Lee movie, so I think I might grab that to add to the collection.
Nice, yeah, man. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. I'll wait till they're on like Paramount or Netflix or whatever and stuff. Yeah, like the Mario movie I watched on Peacock, it was pretty good. I like that. That Turtles movie when I watched it, I liked it. I was like, man, the animations, kind of, like weird. But I was like, oh, okay. And then I got it, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, it grows on you.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm like you. I'm a Turtles fan. I love them. They used to come on at 6 a.m. on like Sunday, and I used to be like, Dad, wake me up at 6 a.m. so I can watch the Turtles. I go watch Turtles from like 6:30, and then go back to sleep till like 8.
Yeah, Leo sits on my desk. So like it's as far back as I can remember, I was a Turtles fan. The two earliest memories that I have of movies, number one was seeing Batman 1989 at a drive-in movie theater. and the other was seeing the original Ninja Turtles in this rundown theater in Humble, Texas, with the stickiest floors known to man. And I was 3 for Batman, and I think 5 for Ninja Turtles. But those are core memories that stuck with me throughout my life. So never gonna let those go.
Yeah, I remember my grandmother took me to see Batman in the theaters, and and she also used to get me the Batman cereal when they had it out at that time or whatever. Man, it was like real good. I can't remember it was kind of, oh man, I'm trying to
Kind of
think
like
of what
Captain Crunch almost.
yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, but it was like shaped like a Batman. I was like, yeah. But anyway, I want to say, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, coming on and chat with us. I hope you all, start, All Fury Pro Wrestling, you all kick butt, you start getting on TV, everywhere, live streams so we can watch, live and all that. Hopefully, if I can make it to Texas, man, I'll catch a show with y'all, I'm trying to get over there in Texas one day this year, because, I need to get over there, in the wintertime, springtime before it gets hot, so I want to try and beat all that.
The summer months in Texas are not for the weak. I almost passed out from heat exhaustion during a new Texas show. So yeah, it's a whole different beast.
Yeah. I'm going to try and do that, before the summer comes. But before I pass it on back on over to Kathy, I want to say thank you for coming on, and I wish all y'all the best of luck, and hope y'all kick butt and doing what y'all doing.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Rob. What's up, Jacob?
How's it going, Kathy? Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. So it's not every day we get to see a promotion start from, the ground up. We all, the name of the first show is Guns Blazing. We kind of figure out, it's kind of self-explanatory. But the name All Fury Pro Wrestling, where'd you get that from? What's its origin?
Okay, so this is it's a little inside baseball, but so I looked at the landscape of Texas wrestling, and I was asking myself, if you're going to start a wrestling promotion, what do you want it to be? What's your mission statement? What do you want the product to look like? And so I thought back to the days of the Japanese pro wrestling, whenever you had New Japan and you had All Japan. Well, Texas has New Texas Pro Wrestling, and I'm like, well, do I want to start All Texas Pro Wrestling? And I'm like, nah, because then if I book somebody who's not from Texas, then it isn't All Texas. But I wanted to bring a sort of intensity to our product that cannot be denied. And so I thought, well, what really embodies that idea of intensity, of just leaving it all in the ring? And that's where All Fury came from. And that's what I hope to put on whenever doors open up on January 20th. That's what I want people to see. I want to see the fury that these people have, that determination, that intensity that makes them some of the best performers on the independent circuit.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, they definitely are hungry too. And, it's going to be an intense show. That's for sure. With all these people that you got, and it's kind of cool that it's everybody, like it's not just one organization. You got not one promotion, you have a little bit of San Antonio coming in with Alexander Crowley, and then you got like everybody else from Houston. It's kind of, they're all in different promotions, they're not just in one. So and there's a lot of favorites in there too, so it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I wanted to bring a bunch of different talent from all over to come compete. We just added Dylan Scott and Max Beckett, who are tearing things up in the Dallas area. Then, of course, like you said, we've got Crowley from San Antonio, and we've got the Houston scene very much represented. You've got Dmitry Alexandrov, who is down here quite a bit, but he basically owns Austin at this point too. So it's good to have him. Just everybody that is involved in this card, I've seen what they're capable of, and a lot of them, they are just riding an incredible high right now in terms of where their career is. Dimitri's one of those, but then there's also guys like Father O'Day, who I've had the pleasure of. I've watched his career grow. We had him; he was a fill-in at the RWR show Flash Forward, where that was just, I could write a book on everything that can possibly go wrong with a wrestling show went wrong with that wrestling show. And so we, at the last minute, were blessed to have O'Day come in and fill in. And he has grown by leaps and bounds. And, if I can speak, like, just putting kayfabe aside for a little bit, in terms of gimmicks, I don't think there is anything at all on the indies as entertaining to me personally as the Eighth Day. Those guys, they have it. Fans love to cheer against the Eighth Day. They are pure heels, just absolutely amazing heels. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Father O'Day brings to All Fury Pro.
Yeah, kind of, as much as I love the Eighth Day, they called me haram. I didn't, I got offended by that, but yeah.
No, they see you and they start chanting hurrah, hurrah. That's what they're saying. You're just misinterpreting it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, definitely the Eighth Day, they have it going on now for sure. And I just put on Twitter not that long ago, they have the best merch going on right now too in the independent.
I will agree with that for sure.
They just released this tie-dye shirt, and that's pretty cool too. And to go along with all their other merch. But yeah, they have like the best looking merch out there right now. So you mentioned, you showed the titles, and they are kind of even the women's title looks WWE based there a little bit too. So yeah, the groundwork there is kind of WWE based. But what made you put what's on it? Like, how'd you design the belt or the titles?
Well, I wanted the belts to reflect the things that I thought were how can I put this? That reflected my sensibilities for what I wanted each division to embody. So with the women's championship, I based that off of what the NXT UK championships looked like, because I really liked that style of wrestling. And so I'm hoping that our Venus division can have a women's division that's as strong as the NXT divisions were. And then, of course, for the mainline title, I modeled that after the Undisputed Championship as sort of like an homage to try to honor Eddie Guerrero, who I thought, whenever I think of that title, that's who I think of. And Eddie being basically Texas wrestling royalty, I kind of wanted to reflect that. But you will notice everywhere on the championships, somewhere on them, there is a detailing that has and I don't know if you can see this because of the glare, but there's a crown, so that nobody ever forgets who runs this bitch, and that's Jacob King.
Yeah, I noticed when you showed the women's title, there was a crown on there too, and I was like,
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just because there'll be a queen, but yeah,
No.
Jacob King, you got to put your
I've
subtle stamp on it.
I've had my fill of queens in wrestling for a while.
Speaking of, one has to wonder, like, where's Rachel? Is she gonna be busy that day?
So here's the thing. Anyone who knows me knows that Rachel Rose and my career are like very much intertwined. I don't think that I would have much of a career if it weren't for Rachel Rose. She was one of the 3 participants at the first Rise of the Vixens that I did a promo video for, and that got the attention of, excuse me, and that got the attention of RWR ownership, and that's what brought me into the fold. So without Rachel Rose, there is no Jacob King. And I made a conscious decision when I launched All Fury Pro that I did not necessarily want to bring Rachel Rose in for the first show because I thought that would be a little bit too expected. And I'm not saying that Rachel is never going to step foot in an All Fury ring, because I love Rachel and I think that she's an amazing talent and I think that there's a spot for her. But I want to use her talents in a way that I think best suit Rachel. I think that she has kind of just grown beyond holding a company's women's division title. I think that she's better than that at this point. And so if I want to bring Rachel in, I want to do something that serves Rachel well. I want to do something that elevates Rachel, that gives Rachel a reason to be in that building. And for our first show, I made a promise to myself that I was going to use as much local talent as possible, as many people from Texas as possible. And if I want to get Rachel Rose on my show, I want to do right by her, and I'd like to bring in an opponent that maybe she hasn't worked before, someone that would get some eyes on her as a talent. And so that's what I'm working on, is getting her an opponent that, if she wants to come work with me, someone that's worth her time. And so hopefully we can make that happen, hopefully for show number 2. And if not, maybe sometime next year.
Fair enough. We'll hope to see her at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to the titles. Sir Fester B had a question. So some promotions will cross. Well, it's right there. Will you put your titles on the line in other promotions in the next year? Because some promotions will crisscross and they'll put their titles in another promotion.
That is my plan, is to allow the competitors of All Fury Pro, if they so choose, to defend their championships at other promotions. Now, the way that All Fury Pro works is, as I said, I'm not just throwing anybody onto the card. These people have to earn their way onto the card. So you will see at the January 20th event, everybody who is on the All Fury Pro Wrestling roster has a token. They have a marker that shows they have earned their way into the promotion. Now, as it stands right now, you have to have one of those tokens to challenge for a championship. So if somebody wants to challenge for one, maybe I can put those tokens up on different promotions, and then maybe we can run us a little cross-promotional tour. But I'm not just going to allow some other promoter to dictate which of their people gets a shot at my title. That will be up to me and up to the champion in question.
Awesome. That's giving some Lucha Underground stuff vibes there with the medallions.
Yeah, Lucha Underground was a huge influence on the storytelling for All Fury. I absolutely loved Lucha Underground, and I would like to capture some of that vibe on an indie level for All Fury Pro. If I'm successful, that remains to be seen, but it is an aspiration.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing when in the rumblings of you creating All Fury Pro, you had mentioned Lucha Underground, and like the vignettes will kind of adapt to that. And Lucha Underground was the bomb. I'm not gonna lie. I love the like whole movie kind of aspect to it mixed with wrestling. I'm sad that it's gone. You know, I watched all 4 seasons of it, but it's gonna be cool if you're kind of gonna bring a little bit of that back to wrestling, because it's missed.
Well, I definitely, with indie wrestling, I would like for us to be able to tell more stories. That is a philosophy that I've had with indie wrestling since I got in, is that the community in Houston that follows independent wrestling, it's a very small, tight-knit group. And the ones that come to one show, they come to all the shows. They are there. They're there every single time. And so they can follow those stories and they can invest in those stories. I think that's one of the things that PWF does very, very well, is making people care about the storylines from month to month. The nuclear heat that JJ Blake got when he won the PWF championship at Burnout it wouldn't have worked if he hadn't been laying the seeds all year long. It felt inevitable. And so when that story finally reached its climax, people cared. So I'm hoping that we can capture a little bit of that magic of storytelling with All Fury Pro. And yeah, Lucha Underground was a huge inspiration in that, in terms of like how we can mix multimedia. So hopefully we can pull it off. Fingers crossed.
Awesome. Well, before I turn it over to Remy, we're going to run down the card one more time. Well, some of the people that are going to be there, can't take forever to put everybody's name, but we mentioned some of them during the show. So the show is January 20th. It's called Guns Blazing, and it's All Fury Pro Wrestling. And you're going to see Just Nick, Justin Tyler, Little Poppy, Father O'Day from the 8th Day, BD Brawley, Alexander Crowley, Kenny Calypso, Izzy James, Stevie Hendricks, Chris Carter, and then we have the women's match that you just said earlier. We got Mia Friday, who today is her birthday. We're birthday twins, so happy birthday, Mia. We got Haley Danielle, and we have Amaris Blair, and we're gonna reveal right now that we all, as Ringside Society, have sponsored Amaris Blair in her match. So there you go.
That's awesome. I know Amaris appreciates it a lot. Amaris is a fan favorite for a reason, and we're glad that she was able to come in. I know she's itching to get in the ring and show off that she's championship material. So Ringside Society may have sponsored the first ever All Fury Pro Venus Division champion. You've got a 1 in 3 chance, but I'm not going to go into Steiner math right now either. So.
Well, if it does happen and she becomes champion, I'll be there and I will cheer her on. And that's going to be the second time I actually see her win a title, because I was at Pro Wrestling 225 when she won that championship. So,
well, history could repeat itself.
Yeah, maybe I'm her good luck charm. When I show up, she wins championships. Who knows?
We'll see.
But like I said, before I turn it over to Remy, I will be at Guns Blazing, or I would like to be at Guns Blazing. We'll see. You know, life kind of gets in the way of things, but I am planning on going to be being there. And just to give you a little pat on the back, I am going over there instead of Raw in New Orleans on the 22nd of January.
I guarantee you'll have a better. I guarantee that we will put on a better show than Raw.
Yeah, I picked you guys.
We don't have Cody's pyro budget, but we will have a better show.
Yeah, I'm missing Becky Lynch for you guys. Like, y'all are my wrestling family in Houston. So there you go. Pat yourself on the back on that one. But thank you for coming on the show. When you said that you wanted a podcast, I jumped on it and I was like, you're always welcome here. You're like family to us. And like I said, want to come on anytime, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
Jacob, anytime you want to take her off our hands, go ahead. She has a degree in communications. I've been trying to I was successful with Rob going off being a referee, but if you want to take her, you can take her. I mean, by all means, go ahead. I mean, just know that she costs a fortune when she damages stuff, and she causes problems. As such, she even roused Rob up to start mischief. But anytime you guys want to take her, go ahead. She once challenged Paige to a match.
Yeah, I remember that.
Match. Yeah, and she had Roxy kick her in the shins one time, and
that was violence on a level I'm not prepared to deal with.
Yeah, I keep telling we don't have insurance, so if she gets injured, I mean, there's nothing I could do but give her well wishes.
Yeah.
But
if you ever do need some, media or whatever, I got you. I'll come early. It's a 4-hour drive to Texas, but I'll leave early.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how after the first show, anything could happen. I don't know what our needs and what we're gonna put into place for show number 2 and beyond. So it's anybody's guess. It could happen.
Yeah. But Jacob, I gotta say, man, I'm we're very happy for you, very, very proud that you actually, are taking the next step up and actually, starting your own promotion, and now you're calling the shots. And that's why we love doing these shows, because you never know where somebody's gonna be in the next year or two. What I'm saying? You're a commentator. Not saying a commentator is a bad thing, but not saying it's a minor thing. Obviously it's important, but you just stepped up and now you're actually the boss that pretty much calls the shots. And that's why we do this here at Ringside Society. We're pretty much an open door for anybody, and we're very happy for you. Very, very. We wish you nothing but the absolute best with All Fury Pro. We hope that you guys go, far with your brand, and hopefully, you get that. I mean, I know you're not looking too much into that, but hopefully you get that nationwide, that international exposure, and then you'll be like, yeah, we had Jacob King on here, man. Now the man's, doing big things, man. We like to see it. We like to see people work hard and get rewarded. And we wish nothing but the absolute best for you as well. So, before we shut this down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to check out all people, or purchase
Well,
y'all's merchandise?
if you want to find me directly, all of my handles are at Jacob King HTX. That's me. And then all of the All Fury Pro is it's going to be at All Fury Pro. So if you want to follow me, you want to follow the company, those are the ways to do it. If you search for All Fury Pro on Facebook, you'll find us. You'll probably also find the event page for Guns Blazing. But that's probably the best place to get news and updates is any one of the social medias. We'll put out information about our upcoming events. We'll put out talent announcements. You may also start seeing promo videos and vignettes pop up on those pretty soon. So you're definitely going to want to follow them. That's at All Fury Pro.
Awesome. So for those of y'all that are in Texas, Louisiana, or any of the surrounding areas, make sure you check out All Fury Pro. You know, they're doing a lot of great things. They have a very impressive roster, and you're going to be seeing a lot more awesome things as well. I'm not just saying that. I just got that crazy vibe that, you know, it's going to be a movie. So with that being said, I just got to say this, you know, before I go any further, today's a special day. We've been talking about it all day. And today is actually our COO's birthday, Kathy Knight. Kathy, I just got to say happy birthday. You know, really and truly, I know that I joke, but you always causing mischief and damage and whatnot. But really and truly, you've pretty much been a backbone of Ringside Society. You've been here from day one. I'll never forget when we started 4 years ago, you know, when you actually, matter of fact, we've known each other for 7 years now, come to think about it, all because of Chris Jericho's tweet. And then, you know, I got back into podcasting 2 years later with, you know, my mentor, George Alonso. And I was like, George, let's start 50 Minutes of Fandom. Let's get the fans some spotlight. And he's like, okay. And I got the first verse already. It's Kathy. And then you were so excited and you were telling everybody. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know something? You know, when I start a podcast, I'm gonna definitely try to have Kathy on as a guest. And then I was like, I need a host. And I was like, Kathy said she'd be a host. And then lo and behold, you just took the bull by the horns and you ran with it. And you know, because of you. So for those of you that don't know, several big interviews, even this one right here, because she was the mastermind behind getting Jacob back. You know, if it was me, I probably would have to talk to his agent and you know whatnot. But you know, she's been instrumental in getting several, you know, notable guests such as Saraya Knight, Paige's mom, on our show, Thunder Rosa, many people. And I gotta say, Kathy, you know, without you, we would not be possible. You are one of the people that keep us going as well. And you know, the unique thing about her is that we are the one podcast that can say that not only do we have a person that's in the wrestling business, in Rob Bass, he's a referee, but we actually have somebody who is actually academically qualified on a collegiate level to do this kind of work. Kathy actually has a degree in communications. So Kathy, you've definitely been a plus to us, and I just got to say, you know, thank you. I'm not going to speak for Rob. I'm going to let Rob have his piece, and Jacob, if you want to say anything too. But I just got to say, thank you for all that you've done, continue to do, and hopefully will do in the seasons to come. It would not have been possible, and like I said, I'm very grateful to have you as part of the team. Rob, go ahead. You got anything to say?
Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, happy birthday. You know what I mean? I'm glad to, you know, be working with you on this podcast. You know what I mean? Couldn't do it with anybody better, you know what I mean? But are we going to sing happy birthday to her? Are we doing that? Oh, okay.
I don't think you want me to sing, dude. I'm gonna pass on that one.
Yeah, I'm good. My dogs will start barking and be like, shut up, Rob. You are awful. Oh, you're hurting our ears.
Yeah. Jacob, you have anything, or you just...
Yeah, Kathy. So I think we met at a row show a couple of years back. I met a lot of good people at that show, but Kathy's one of the best. And she's been a consistent supporter of the Texas indie wrestling scene. And it's people like her that allow companies like All Fury Pro to operate, because without people who are dedicated to indie wrestling, without people who show up to the shows and not only show up, but talk about the shows and support the independent talent, without them, like this whole thing collapses in on itself. So, you know, it's people like Kathy that elevate those talents to the next level. It's people like Kathy that are the reason that people like our girl Roxanne have the place, have the platform that they do. And I hope that my promotion and that everybody in Texas can continue to do right by people like Kathy, because it's them that keep us alive, and it's them that we need to be making happy on a consistent basis.
Awesome. So Kathy, you know, happy birthday. May you live to see many more. You know, thank you for, you know, everything you do once again. Thank you for keeping me that level headed, because I had sometimes I'm like, God, and then you're like, calm down, Remy, you know, you're gonna be, you know, it's not that serious. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And you know, so thank you for all you do. I don't know if you have anything to say, but you know, the floor is yours.
I just want to say thank you. Remy's being nice to me. That's kind of weird. But you know, he's got a sentimental vibe to him sometimes, you know. And then Rob, where's the cowbell this year? You know, you usually have one. Ah, there it is. And Jacob, thank you for, you know, the kind words and everything. Yeah, I started going to Texas in 2019 because of Paige's mom. She was going to be at that row show, Row on the Rise, and saw a lot of amazing people. You know, Roxy was one of them, and Hyon and Rachel Rose and Insidious and Mars and Kelly Kate. And 4 years later, I'm still supporting them, and you know, saw some more of the, you know, the men, not just the women. And Brian Keith is one of them, and you know, Will All Day, and y'all are like family to me, and it's worth the 4-hour drive and putting a lot of miles on my car all the time. So I love to, you know, have my little blue camera and videotape everything and put it on the internet for people to see, and just from a fan's perspective, not the, you know, the cameras that film everything, you know, just from ringside, that kind of thing. And love to support you guys any way I can, and you know, that's why I jumped at the chance to have Jacob on the show today. And it's not every day you see a promotion from the ground up come up, you know, and we get to watch it live and in person, some of us. So yeah, just being a cheerleader for everybody, and you know, just want to thank everybody for making me feel special today, including, I saw Fester B said happy birthday, so thank you. And just here's to another year.
Awesome. You know, initially I was going to do a Kathy, this is your life for your birthday, bring in some people from the past just to shock you. But I just might do it next year. Matter of fact, I just might shock Rob. I might bring his high school ex-girlfriend, you know, like Mick Foley did with The Rock, or I might bring his 8th grade home ec teacher, and just to get a rise out of him. But I'm thinking about it next year. So yeah, but stay tuned. It just might happen. But once again, happy birthday. And with that being said, I must say it's about that time. You know, my eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, Kathy Knight, the birthday girl. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to wish you happy birthday? You know, talk things off, Becky Lynch and Paige, and all good things Louisiana eating.
So you can find me on, let's see, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and Twitch, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome. Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, and the Sean Spence to my Burton Guster. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out your next appearances, purchase Rob Bass merchandise? Where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Rob_Bass82, Facebook, Rob Bass. December 9th, 1CW, we're going to be in Houston, Delaware. We got a show going on there, and we have a very special guest coming in. He's going to be in the house. Two-time WWE Intercontinental Champion. He's I think he actually won the King of the Ring before it was the King of the Ring. You know what I mean? He's been a tag champ. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. The great Tito Santana will be in the house. So everybody, you better get your tickets now. I don't know how many are left, so they're going fast. There might be a few left. And if you ever want to see 1CW, we're on Delmarva Sports Network every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. You can find us on Android, Apple, on the apps. If you don't want to do that, you can just go online, type in DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com, and you can catch us. Check out old shows. Get up to date, see what's going on, and there you go. You can find me doing that.
Man, Tito Santana, man, I don't know. I just might see if I could get that day off to go there, because that was one of my first. He was one of my first 4 favorite wrestlers, and probably the only one I'll ever be able to talk to, because Mario Jannetty's doing whatever. Sean's running NXT, and unfortunately, Ultimate Warrior is no longer with us. So I guess Tito's the only one. Tito's the only one left. So, but anyways, make sure you check out that show if you're in Houston or any of the areas nearby. Definitely check out that show, 1CW. They do a lot of great things in Delaware. And with that being said, if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. I was just in Los Angeles last week. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue as well. And our podcast is also on social media. We're on X, Instagram, and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're also on Threads as at Ringside Society as well. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're also on Spotify, and we're also on Teespring, where we have official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and long sleeve shirts for the cold weather, and also even coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage as well. Definitely check us out. We have several great designs as well too. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with Haley Danielle. We didn't have Rachel Rose on YouTube yet. Hopefully we'll make that happen. But many other great men and women in Texas, many other great men and women all over the world in professional wrestling. You can definitely find those interviews here on YouTube. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society, and once you see that really beautiful, handsome, dark blue and light blue yin yang sound with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos, because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. Thank you very much. We really and truly appreciate it. We're one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to, and we're not going to stop being that. So those of you that are going to listen later on when we get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at a Golden Corral, Kathy at Cafe Dumont, damn, those things are like crack, and Rob Bass at a taco festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. But with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag, we are not the same. So with that being said, hey, yo, Rob Bass, Kathy Knight, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for Kathy's birthday. I know she's going to eat some more birthday cake and ice cream.
Woo!
One time for Jacob King, and one time for the greatness that he's going to bring with All Fury Pro.
Woo!
Damn, that's a good-looking belt.
Mm-hmm.
What type of podcast are we?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
We're the Wrestling Fans
Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back next week after Thanksgiving. So until then, we have 5 favors for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, have a happy Thanksgiving, eat a lot, drink a lot, stay safe, be merry, and be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Let the good times roll.